Welcome to Growing Belleville Through Community Chats, a podcast presented by the Greater Belleville Chamber of Commerce to help highlight, promote, and enlighten people, businesses, and community events in the Greater Belleville area. Here are your hosts, Stephen Sedlak and Eric Huber.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Growing Belleville Through Community Chats. I am your co-host, Stephen Sedlak, along with Mr. Eric Huber. How are we today, Eric?
Doing well, Stephen. As we were talking about, kids are getting ready to head back to school, if not today, this week. So I'm sure there's a lot of parents happy out there and probably teachers not so happy out there.
Yeah, no, I've told this story before, but when summer started, my wife was like, oh my gosh, I think this summer's going to fly by so fast. I want it to slow down. And now about 3 weeks ago, she's like, I got to get it back in school. So she's along with many parents. Anyway, we have our guest today is Rolanda Finch from It's Your Birthday, Inc. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for hopping on with us. Why don't you kind of just give a quick little background of yourself for those that aren't familiar with you?
So, It's Your Birthday, Inc. Our mission is to create fun and memorable birthday experiences for children that are in homeless and domestic violence shelters. And so pretty much we go into the shelters and we give kids either a birthday party, a birthday surprise, or a birthday in a box. So several options that we let the mom and or the shelter select from to enjoy the kid's birthday.
Now, how did where did the whole idea come from? I guess, when did you guys start? Kind of like a little more of the background and history with you guys.
So I'm one of those people that love my birthday. It's September 14th, just in case you like to know.
Coming up, right?
I was volunteering 8 years ago at a homeless shelter, and I looked around and I was wondering, we were just feeding the homeless, and I was wondering, what do these kids do on their birthday? Because that's where my mind goes for birthdays. And I asked the executive director, what do we do? What do the kids do? And they were like, well, we have very limited resources, as you can imagine. And so we don't do anything. We get the kiddos to school, we feed them, we do all the necessities. But the fun is like for birthdays, we don't do anything. And I said, well, suppose I came in just as Rolanda, not as an organization, but what if I came in and gave the kiddos a birthday party? I would come in once a month. I'd gather some of my friends and I'd give the kids a birthday party. So all the kids that have a party that month, we would celebrate their birthday. Other shelters started to hear about it, and 8 years later, here we are.
So you guys will basically go in and you do it once a month, right? Kind of for all the kids that have it for that month, right? Because, there's probably not enough hours in the day to do each individual birthday on their birthday.
Exactly. I totally wish we could, but we make the kids feel extra special when we go in once a month. Like I said, so all the kids are invited. So for instance, if there's 20 kids in the shelter and there's 4 birthdays in August, all 20 kids are invited. And then those 4 kids get treated extra special on their birthday.
How many shelters are you guys currently doing this in?
So we're in approximately 22 shelters. We call on 22 shelters, and they're in the St. Louis Metro East areas. We have a shelter in Northern Illinois, and we have a few shelters in Southern Missouri.
When it comes to, I guess when you first started it, right, and you said, you're calling on your friends and kind of doing it, what was kind of the reception from your friends when you approached them about this idea?
Yeah, it was funny because they were like, oh my, I still get this reaction that, why didn't I think of this? It's such a simple idea. So a lot of people say that to me, oh my God, it's cake, it's ice cream, it's games. Why didn't I think of this? And people are super, super eager to help. And so we are, and people want to help as part of the birthday celebration. And so the parties, we get people to help all the time. It's the administrative stuff that I can't get people to help me with, but the parties, people want to be a part of the parties. kids. And so that's always fun. We have a party tomorrow, and at this party we're going to have a big ice cream social. It's a very small number of kiddos that'll be there. We invite moms, and if there's dads in the shelters, we invite them too. So it becomes not just a fun time for the kid, but it actually becomes a family environment. And so our volunteers like to come and just be a part of that family happiness, because as you can imagine, this is a very tough time for the kids. Because they're kids, right? And kids don't, they don't understand a lot of things. They just know this is where we are now. Mom or dad, they want to do better, but they have limited resources themselves. And so while they want to make sure their kiddos have a great birthday, it's difficult during this time. And so we come in and we take away that burden from the mom or the dad in during this time.
And I guess that's a good point. I'm assuming that relief that those parents that, if they are in the shelter with them, it just, every parent wants the most for their child, right?
Exactly.
And wants them to have the best. And so just that relief of knowing that something's there for them, maybe at a time that's just down for them, that they can't provide that, it is probably so gratifying for you and for them, knowing that their child is still getting some sort of, celebration.
Exactly. I will tell you, so the first year, couple of years that we were doing this, we were excluding the parents from the party, because in our mind, we didn't take the kids anywhere. And it was, let's give the mom a break, right? And let's, our parties are only an hour. We asked volunteers to show up 30 minutes ahead of time to help us decorate. And then the party itself is an hour, and then stay 30 minutes later to clean up. And so because we weren't taking the kids anywhere, we just said, mom, just come in, or mom can go rest. Kids, just come into the room. Because again, we're right at the shelter. Right. Come into the room and let's party. Well, mom started hearing all the fun we were having, and they said, well, I want to come. And so now we designed it specifically for having the moms or the dad there to participate. And so sometimes we play like minute to win it games, or we'll play the moms against the kids, or the kids or the families against each other. So it becomes, if you can imagine in a domestic violence situation where in that shelter they're hiding out. And so, they're stressed, they're going through a lot of emotions. And so this 1 hour for them is that time to just be kids and be a family, and for mom to be a mom, to her kids. And so it becomes just more, if I think about 8 years ago, the mission was, for me, it was very focused on, that kid having a good time, that kid having a great memory. Now I have realized that it is about the moms too, and dads too, that, it's creating that memory for them too, because we're able to do something that they may not be able to do.
Rolanda, when you're out, you've been doing it for 8 years now, like you said. Do you see? I don't know. I'm sure you probably have some repeat birthdays by now. A couple that you've celebrated multiple times. I mean, is it fun going back and seeing those kids maybe a year later, 2 years later, maybe a little growth, anything like that, or even the parents? I guess I'm asking, like, you still get that feeling of showing up like it's your first one doing it, or, is it getting to be more of a job? How does it feel towards you and your staff?
Well, you know what it is? I love birthdays. So for me, it's always a first. And so I'm always excited. And I will tell you, we don't have a lot of repeaters, just because typically, which we're glad, right? Because that means you've been in the shelter a long time. What we have seen is that, sometimes the family will go from a domestic violence shelter to a homeless shelter. And so we may see them at that point. We have seen some that come back. And I will admit that saddens me, that because that means for a year, this has been your situation. And so for the most part, we don't see the same kids again. So but I'm always excited though. For every birthday I get like you would think I just started like yesterday, like tomorrow. I'm so excited. It's a shelter we hadn't been to in a while. And you got to think about it too with COVID. We haven't been in a shelter, and we don't do as many parties as we did prior to COVID. And so, for instance, prior to COVID, we were doing 5 or 6 parties a month, almost every weekend. And so, or during or evening in the week. Since COVID, we may do 1 or 2 parties a month at the most. And so that we don't see it as much. And that's why we started doing more of our Birthday in a Box program. And the Birthday in a Box is a box full of toys. And so imagine yourself as a kid, you're in a shelter, and we deliver this decorated birthday box full of toys. The box also has a gift card from Schnucks. Schnucks donates a $50 gift card that we put in the box for the mom to go buy cake and ice cream and or that kid's favorite meal. And so, you got this box of toys, and I try to stuff that box. So that kid, it's a big box that kid can barely carry with all kind of toys in it. Sometimes we do it where the mom takes the credit. We deliver the box to the mom, and now the mom gives the box to the kid. We don't need the credit for it. We want her to get the credit for it. We do a birthday surprise, which is similar in a sense that we want the mom to get the credit. It's where the mom or the kid could go on our Amazon wish list and they select what they want. We send it from Amazon to the shelter, and then the shelter will give it to the mom, and the mom gives it to the kid. Sometimes the mom wraps it and gives it to the kid. But again, it leaves us out of it. And so now the kid says, thanks, Mom, for this great gift, not thanks, it's your birthday. We don't want that credit.
That's a good point. Going back to COVID, and we've had this conversation with many people before. But you guys, of course, when it hit, you guys probably had to really figure out a creative way to continue it, because I'm sure those were kind of shut down, not letting a lot of people in like everything else. So I'm assuming what you just explained was kind of what you guys pivoted to. But can you kind of go into detail a little bit more about how you guys did kind of manage to get through at least, I always say COVID's come in these stages where at the beginning was the worst part, was shut down so bad. And then we had a couple, visits were shut down again. But that first initial stage where everything was really shut down, how did you guys kind of react to that?
Yeah, so we had always had the Birthday in a Box program. So the Birthday in a Box pre-COVID was decorations to, if the mom said, you know what, I want to give my kid a party. So we would provide her all the decorations and all the stuff to have the party. So we already had the program. COVID hit, shelter said, you can't come in here. But then I came back and said, the kid is still having a birthday party, so a birthday. So birthdays didn't stop because of COVID, unfortunately, right? And so I said, let us just give the kids toys. Let us give the kids a box full of toys. Just keep it that simple. And so it took a lot. It took a lot to convince the shelters to just let us drop it off. We can, I wear gloves. We drop it off at the front door. We drop it off on the steps to wherever. I can have the mom meet me at the car. I can pop my trunk. She can get it out of there. And so we did, all kind of crazy things to get that kid something. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, the shelters were overwhelmed. And so this fell kind of low on the priority list, unfortunately. But I think because we were able to pivot so fast and we were being so flexible that, shelters said, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, no, you just got to tell me that a kid has a birthday. I just need to know that birthday is August 18th and I'll be there. I can, again, drop it off at the front, pop my trunk. Right. What do you want? And so we did those types of things. And so I think that has helped us a lot, just being able to be flexible throughout all of this. So much so is that some of the shelters haven't gone back to parties because they like the boxes. And so now we're slowly trying to convince them. Remember those great parties we had, guys? Let's go back to that. And so, it's been crazy trying to convince them. Let's go back to parties.
Yeah, because I think that's a good point. Like what you said earlier, you're giving them at least an hour to kind of, with that party, a present. Exactly. That's fine and all, but that hour, takes their mind away from everything that they're going on. So I think that's an important aspect, and hopefully more of these will start reopen for you guys.
Yeah. And during our parties, we actually have, we'll have a balloon artist that comes in, Sammy J Balloons. He's amazing. So he comes in and he does these coolest balloon animals or whatever you want. He does this monkey on a palm tree with a banana. Like he does like the most amazing balloon art that you could ever see. We have Abracadabra that comes in and do magic shows for the kiddos too. And so that's always fun. And so with the birthday in a box, we're kind of missing out on those types of that type of fun. And the ice cream and cake,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's, we've talked about it before on here, Rolanda. It's COVID. I mean, screwed up a lot of people, a lot of situations. You got to get back in person, like you're saying. It kind of. I was going to ask you what that percentage is, what that looks like now that we're coming kind of out of COVID. If you're getting back into this, so it kind of surprises me that that the in person is still kind of slow to catch back on, because I would think these kids, these families, parents, they need that almost like Stephen pointed out, that hour of just remove yourself from whatever's going on and have fun, celebrate yourself, celebrate your birthday. So keep pushing, because I think that's what they need.
Yeah, I am. And, especially, we have some shelters that are, a lot of kids. There's like, 20, 25 kiddos in the shelter. And so, here we are, we're a program for you. It doesn't cost you anything because we are a 501c3. And so, no one pays, and the shelter does not pay, the mom doesn't pay, it's all us. And it's fun. We've added pizza to the list. And so you get pizza. And we're very, very flexible in the sense that if, whatever theme the kid wants, within reason, we will provide that theme for the kid. So if I know, the little girl loves LOL, she's going to have like an LOL everywhere in that room. And so, just imagine you're in a shelter, you walk in that room, you love LOL, and it's everywhere, and it's all for you. And so that's what I'm trying to get the shelters to see, that, let us do that. I can do an LOL box of stuff. That's great. But how awesome it is to have, that entertainment there, and that that fun time with everyone in the shelter.
Yep.
Well, I think, your points of all the stuff you guys are adding and all that stuff, those things don't come free, right? So how are you guys, getting your funding? How are you guys getting donations? Kind of tell people that in case they're interested to help as well too.
So we, on our website, under the Give tab, there's various ways that that folks can donate: PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, check. We take just about every, we don't do crypto right now, just because I don't understand it that well, but once I understand it, we will take it. And we apply for grants. We have some corporate sponsorship. A lot of times we get in-kind donations. So for instance, in our birthday in a box, and even as a gift to our younger kids, specifically, Maxine from Build-A-Bear, the founder of Build-A-Bear, she actually personally donates bears to us. And so that's a huge help for us. And so each kid gets a Build-A-Bear, a happy birthday Build-A-Bear. So that's always fun for the kiddos to get. But yeah, just any type, again, PayPal is probably our best way to do it. Again, Cash App, Venmo, checks as well.
So who are some of your, I know you said I would give them credit too, because I think it's important to recognize, such as Build-A-Bear and Schnucks, that do donate things on a regular basis. But are there any other ones that kind of help you guys out on a regular basis?
Yeah, there's a company called Hyco. They are a helium company. And so someone donated some balloons, Ariel Bouquet, I think that's the name. Donated a bunch of balloons when we first started, like enough balloons that 8 years ago, I still have a lot of balloons.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah, that's totally balloons. And so Heiko came along and said, hey, you need helium. We will provide you a helium tank whenever you need it. And so for the last 7-8 years, they've been providing us a helium tank. So, simple things like that has been really good. As you mentioned, Schnucks has been a great partner. Panera is a great partner as well. We've had some of their volunteers come to parties. We've had, they've provided gift cards. So our older kids, because, they don't want a box full of toys, we give them a box full of toiletry items, games, and snacks. and as well as a bunch of gift cards to fast food places that are in the area. So, for instance, Covenant House is in North City, in St. Louis, and so their kids are youths, and so they average from age 14 to 22, so young adults. And so we provide them a box or bag full of, again, toiletry items. In the wintertime, we put hats and socks and things like that in there. And then we also give them a bunch of gift cards. So White Castle is there, McDonald's is there. And so all of those places around, Panera actually donates cards to that for us to give to the kiddos with those options as well. I'm trying to think of all of our, we have on our website under partnerships, you can see all of our other donors that we have.
I guess the next question is, how do you find the time for, I mean, going to the birthday parties is one thing. That's like an hour and a half or so, but there's a lot of planning and a lot of stuff that goes into. So, I'm sure like everybody else, and time is at a premium for you and other things going on. So, where is it, how much time do you put into this, and kind of, I guess, where do you find that time? Because sometimes I'm struggling to find time.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I do work full time. And so this is kind of my side gig.
Right.
So I don't sleep. I personally don't have kids, so I'll put that out there too. So I don't have kids to shuffle around either. So these are my kids that everyone else is shuffling kids, this is what I'm shuffling. So I probably put in, I'd say 20 plus hours a week. I do have a really, really good board of directors. And so it's a working board. And so they have their task. And so they help a lot. We just implemented a program called Birthday Heroes. And so as a birthday hero, what you would do as a volunteer, you'd commit, we said a year, we were tailing it down to 6 months, to being responsible for a shelter. And so, for instance, CDBG is a shelter in East St. Louis. So you would commit to being their contact person. And so that, for me, that takes away, now I only have to contact 20 shelters instead of, so we have 5 birthday heroes right now that handle 5 of our shelters. And so that is a huge lift off me to do that. And so we've been doing more of that. We are looking for more birthday heroes. We're looking for more board members. Next month in September is our birthday month. And yes, it does coincide with my personal birthday.
I was just going to ask that.
So next month is our birthday month. And what we're doing is we're finalizing everything this week. But we're going to have a bunch of events planned that'll be available on our website and through our social media. But what we're doing is, and it's the first time we're trying this, is that we have it's going to be a passport. And so as you attend things or our different events, or as you donate, or different ways you can receive points and so our stamps. And so as you receive these stamps, when you receive 8 or more stamps, your name goes into a raffle to win a grand prize at the end of the month. And so we're working to see what that looks like. Last year, Mission Taco, for our 7th birthday, they created a taco especially for our birthday month. It was a cheeseburger taco that was so good. This year they're doing a pizza taco. And so those types of partnerships we have. Kendra Scott in Frontenac, they'll give us a weekend where if you buy, it's a jewelry store where you buy things from them, either online or in the store, they give us a percentage back. Sweetology, which is in Chesterfield area, they are doing something similar during the month of September. If you purchase something, they'll give a percentage back to It's Your Birthday. We're working with a popcorn place somewhere in Belleville. One of my board members is working on it, so I don't know all the details to it, but hopefully, because what we're trying to do, obviously, we're trying to balance between things for people to do on the Illinois side and the St. Louis side. And so stay tuned. We got a lot planned for the birthday month because it's my birthday too. And if your birthday is on my birthday, you get like triple points. So
just stop by and get your whole passport stamped, right?
Exactly.
Well, look, I'm a guy. To me, my birthdays, after about 30, I kind of quit counting or knowing. They don't do much for me. But kudos to you guys, because for a child, a birthday is to them almost as big as Christmas or Hanukkah or anything like that. That they celebrate, and it's about them, and it's important that they get that no matter how they get it. So again, kudos to you guys. I think it's a phenomenal organization, something that's fantastic that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, we want to be cognitive of your time here. We know you're busy. You got birthdays to plan and all this stuff. And I'm sure you got a birthday party you're planning for yourself here in about a month from today. So we don't want to take too much of your time. But again, we truly appreciate it. And if you want to kind of just leave ways that, best ways to get in touch with you guys or you personally, and then we'll kind of close it out from there.
Perfect. Just go to our website. It's yourbirthdayinc.org, and all of our information is on there: how to give, how to volunteer, and just general information about us. If you want to reach me directly, it's Rolanda at it'sYourBirthdayInc.org. Our phone number is 314-623-8301, and we have an office in Belleville, right off of Frank Scott Parkway. And so if you ever want to come by and visit, just reach out. It's by appointment only because we're not there all the time. But come on by, check us out, and see all the fun stuff that we have in there.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. This was fun.
Thanks. You, Rolanda.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Growing Belleville Through Community Chats podcast. Please remember to follow and subscribe to this podcast and share with your friends and community leaders. For additional information from this podcast, please reach out to the Greater Belleville Chamber of Commerce.